Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday, the last Wednesday of October 2022. Time for our global travel update. A day early this week because I've been traveling. Where am I now? I'm in the Imperator Hotel in Nimes in France. And of course, you know how to reach me. Just send your comments in. You know how to post them online. If you miss me today, that's okay. Peter@petergreenberg.com at any time will get to me. Lots of stuff to talk about today, including, it's crazy. I'm in Europe right now, so I have to talk about it. They're still marching. There are protests against inflation here. And of course, the power of the euro is not exactly strong as well. And that means, it's a buyer's market for us, but not a pretty picture for the French. And of course, because of the energy situation with the pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline and everything else, every country in Europe is cutting back on electricity and energy. And but the French will not be denied, even though they're going to put it on a different schedule. They're going to still light up the Eiffel Tower. Just wanted you to know that. It may not be lit for very long every night, but it will be lit up. Just wanted you to know that. Moving over to the United Kingdom, which of course is still on its roller coaster prime minister ride, even though they've announced a new prime minister, the currency, the British pound, is not stabilized. It's still a buyer's market for us as well there. But there's another story that's brewing. Remember, we talked about what happened this summer at Heathrow, where they actually put a cap on the number of passengers that could fly out of Heathrow on any given day. Well, about 2 or 3 days ago, the authorities at Heathrow said, guess what? We figured our problems out. We're not going to have a cap for Christmas. Anybody can fly. We're not going to put a limit on the number of passengers. Okay, great. Well, guess what? It was just announced today that UK border protection officers, the guys who basically process your passports, are calling a strike for the Christmas holiday. That's 3,500 of them, which means Heathrow could be a mess all over again. Happy holidays to them. And then to add insult to injury, this story came across my desk and I had to share it with you. You know what I happen to think about resort fees, right? It's a tax dodge so that hotels can actually pay less money to taxes by not charging it as part of the room rate. That's no different than a baggage fee from the airlines. It's not a fare. It's not taxed that way. Well, to add insult to injury, a number of Airbnbs now, get ready, are charging resort fees. Are they kidding me? They already charge a cleaning charge. What's the resort fee? So you can make believe you're in somebody's one-bedroom apartment and you're styling? Ugh, we got to stop this. We first of all have to come up with a legal definition of terms of what can justify charging a resort fee and what constitutes a resort fee. So we'll be on top of that story. But if you're operating an Airbnb and you disagree with me, or you want to know more information, go ahead, give me a comment. Tell me what you think about the dreaded resort fee, whether it's at a hotel or an Airbnb, because we have now basically morphed in the United States into the land of the brave and the home of the fee. And we crossed the line now, and we need to vote with our wallets. This is unacceptable. Okay, moving right along. Speaking of interesting developments, I talked about this a little bit last week as the airlines reported their third quarter earnings. United Airlines, 40% increase in revenue, 30% increase in fares, especially over the transatlantic. Same thing happened at Delta, and American Airlines recorded their largest third quarter in history, right? So we're thinking, okay, the fourth quarter, it's going to go down. Well, guess what? It hasn't. The demand is still strong. People apparently are not price sensitive. I'm seeing airfares that are ridiculous through the end of this year. And I'm not just talking Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'm talking between now and December 31st. So we'll be watching that. What's interesting about that is the airlines are doubling and tripling down, especially United, on their transatlantic service. They're adding more routes, they're adding more flights. They think the answer is going to be over the ocean, and they may be right. But if you're sitting at home now watching this, or wherever you happen to be, and trying to figure out how you're going to plan your trips, consider this. The airfares are really not going to come down now until after January 5th, and they will stay down with two exceptions, President's Day weekend and Memorial Day. But between January 5th and the end of May, they will come down 20 to 30% at the least. And once those fares come down, that's indicative of what? Fewer people flying. Fewer people flying means if you've got unredeemed frequent flyer miles lying around, that's the time to redeem them. Now, I'm not telling you to wait till January 5th to redeem them. I'm telling you to redeem them now, starting January 5th through the end of next year. Think 330 days out and find those frequent flyer tickets now. They're not going to get any less expensive. They're not free, by the way, but they're not going to get you. You worked hard for them, but the actual eligibility numbers are going to go up, right? Why is that? Because during the pandemic, the airlines reported a record number of frequent flyer program enrollments because everybody's going out and getting all those credit cards and they're signing up. So now you're in competition with everybody trying to earn miles for everything short of breathing. So the number of unredeemed miles out there is increasing almost exponentially, and there's no place to redeem them because the airline, if the planes are full, and by the way, the airlines right now, I'm talking about the legacy carriers, are flying about 10% fewer flights than they did before the pandemic. So the planes are full, the fares are high, and given the law of supply and demand, they're only going to get higher. I saw a fare the other day from New York to Madison, Wisconsin, where we were, for $1,000. Unacceptable. But the good news is January 5th to the end of May, that's a sweet spot. Start redeeming those miles for that window now. Don't wait till the end of the year. Do it now. All right. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of things to look at today. I want to give you our throwback picture. The question is, who was in this picture with me? And when was it taken? And where was it taken? That's me on the right, by the way. All right. Who's in the picture? When was it taken? And where was it taken? Let's see how good you guys are. All right. And we'll come back to that later. Let's start scrolling down and saying hi to people. Okay. Joan saying hi from California. Who else is saying hi here? Julie saying hi. Contemplating Portugal or the Amalfi Coast. And Barcelona. Oh, no, excuse me. And Basilicata. I didn't read that correctly. In late April. Any thoughts on where fewer tourists and best weather will be at that time? Well, guess what? You said April. You'll own it. I wouldn't worry about it. Remember, though, one thing. Easter. You don't want to go anywhere Easter Sunday or Easter week. Other than that, April's a good month. Okay? Harriet and Jim are saying hi from Lithuania. We'll be there later this year. Actually, early next year, as a matter of fact. Okay, Gail says, my thoughts on resort fees. It's a cash cow for the hotel industry, just like baggage fees are for airlines. I have tried to negotiate resort fees with no luck. You can actually negotiate that. Who are you negotiating it with? The front desk? Bad idea. General manager? Better idea. If enough of us do that, they will basically wipe them clean because, look, hotels don't make money when you stay once. They make money when you come back. And if you're going to vote with your wallet and say, I'm not coming back till you get rid of the resort fee, then they'll do it. I've had it happen to me all the time, and it's not because it's me. I just asked the right person in the nicest but strongest possible way. Okay. Denise is in Tanzania. Priya's in Irvine. Okay. Hey, Cherry Hills, New Jersey. Hello, Michael. Okay, Joy is saying, planning on going to South Africa 2023. When is the best time to go, and when is the best place in South Africa for first timers? Well, the real question is, why are you going? Are you going on a safari? Or do you want to head south and do Cape Town and Durban and the Cape? You have to tell me, right? Not only that, the good news is the South African rand is still depressed against the US dollar. It is still a buyer's market. So answer those questions. I'll try to help you out. Okay, Patty says April or May in Istanbul. Well, I'm in France. You remember what Audrey Hepburn said about Paris? Paris is always a good idea. So is Istanbul. So I'm not going to differentiate between April or May. I'm going to go any chance I get. Okay? But don't limit yourself to Istanbul. Get a look at the map. It's a great place to start. You can hub there, but take a look. Okay. Joseph saying hi from Nairobi. Excuse me. Evelyn's saying hi from Denver. Someone's saying, Sally's saying hi from Texas. And Laura is saying hi, welcome to France. And I owe you a phone call, which I will give you tomorrow. We're having a great time. We're busy. I'm in Nimes, as you know. We were just in Paris for the last 2 days, and I will get back to you on that. But always happy to see Anne and Laura, and also happy to see her, and also happy to talk to her. All right. Who's got an answer on where that picture was taken? Anybody? Wow. All right. I'll give you a hint. It was taken in Los Angeles. I still didn't tell you where in Los Angeles, and it was taken in, I'll give you the year, 1975. Okay, any guesses? I'll give you a little more time. Okay, Samson's saying he's watching from Tanzania. Sue's saying hi from Bellingham, Washington. Torsten's saying hi in Germany. Okay, not far from where we are, I think. Okay, Patty's saying hi. I'm going down here. Michelle's saying hi from Tampa. We were just in Tampa last week. We love Tampa. By the way, Tampa has really gotten their act together in terms of the food scene. 16 cutting-edge chefs have opened up restaurants there in the last 18 months. I'm telling you, for those people who know Tampa, there was always Burns, right? And there was always the Columbia, probably the largest sit-down restaurant in the United States, if not the world. But now you've got more choices, and it's really great food. Okay. Good morning from Old Town Orange, California. You know, I love when cities like Orlando or Orange say, let's go to Old Town. What does Old Town do? Go back to 1955? Come on. Okay. Eddie's saying hi from Miami. Patrick Cooney. I've been reading all his Facebook posts. Greetings from the Love Boat theme cruise. By the way, Patrick came fully prepared in uniform. I don't know if he's the bartender or Captain Stubing, but he's on the ship. Currently docked in Puerto Vallarta, where we are celebrating Lauren's birthday. Of course, Julie McCoy from the original cast. Okay. Jew is always saying hi from Japan. And okay. Okay, let's see here. Charlie's saying, we would love to have you in our Patriot Coop. I have no idea what that is, but I'll look into it. Gail's saying we were booked on a Mississippi River cruise New Year's Eve. I'm getting concerned because I keep hearing about how low the river is now. It is low during the summer. It normally is not low during the winter. I think you'll be okay. Okay. Let's go back up here. Anybody else want to guess what is in that picture? Huh? Okay. All right, Susan's saying hello. I'm going to scroll down here and see if anybody's guessing. Patty's saying hi from Kentucky. Kim says it's too hard to see the photo on the phone. Well, then, Kim, you'll just have to wait for the answer. But lovely to see you. And by the way, I just had a meeting just yesterday with Michel Moreau. I'm sure he is saying hello to you as we speak in Paris. Okay, Bonnie says, I want to go to Japan. What cities are a must-see? Well, for me, I mean, you got to do Tokyo, but for me, it's truly Kyoto. Kyoto, to me, is about as spiritual as you can get in Japan. It's wonderful. Take the bullet train from Tokyo. Just remember, when the doors open, rush in, because then the doors close quickly. But Kyoto is just serene for me. Okay, Camilla says, cheers from Tucson. Okay, I'm still looking for anybody who wants to guess. All right, I'm scrolling back up. Okay, I gave you guys hints. 1975 and Los Angeles, and nobody's got it. All right, so I'm going to tell you. You see me on the right there. That was taken in the Chateau Marmont, the famous hotel in Hollywood. And the person on my right, on your left in the photo, is Martin Mull. Anybody remember Martin Mull? You should. There you go. Very good. Good. Oh, Joan got it. Joan got it. She just came in with Martin Mull. Congratulations. Somebody got it. Congratulations to Joan. By the way, our radio show this weekend is all about Halloween. What a surprise. It's going to air this Saturday. We're going to talk about haunted everything all over the world, some of the great stories, some of the great haunted hotels, destinations, tours, spooks, goblins, ghosts, apparitions, you name it, and great stories from our regular contributors as to when they were scared, when they were spooked, or when they weren't, but maybe spooked somebody else. So check it out, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, our Ion Travel CBS radio show. Check your local listings. And if you can't find it in your market, you can find it. Just go right to our website. Go right to the radio icon, hit it, and we stream it live starting at about 10:05 Eastern Time. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's talk a little bit more about those resort fees, because The problem with resort fees is if you don't stop them, they will proliferate. And it's like this amoeba that keeps on dividing and multiplying because hotels think they can. It's because they can. Remember the story I told you about the 745,000 award miles needed to get a first class ticket on Delta? Well, they're doing it because they can, not because it's the right thing to do. All right. I keep laughing at that particular number because if you figure out how much money you spent to get to that 745,000 miles, it's about $420,000. You could charter 2 planes for that. You could charge for tickets and make money. But for one ticket, 745,000 miles, I mean, that's just delusional. And I'm afraid there's some people who would actually do it. And you know why they'd do it? They'd redeem those number of miles because they would say, oh, well, it's better than nothing, slightly better than nothing. But look how much money you spent to get it. Well, for resort fees, there's a simpler way to do it. The hotels don't want to do it. Look, bury it in the fee. Look, I don't deny hotels the opportunity to make a profit. I'm staying at a hotel now. But I don't like the concept of nickel and diming, right? Why should we be forced to go to our wallet every 5 minutes when we travel? There should be truth in advertising, full disclosure, transparency, and no hidden add-ons. And for so many people, the resort fee is a hidden add-on. Even when the hotel fully discloses it, you know, we've talked about the recent court cases where Marriott now has to post it in the same time font and size as they advertise the room rate itself. But that's the exception to the rule, or at least it's the exception to the practice. Always ask ahead, is there a resort fee? And then why? What does it cover? I mean, what, a towel at the pool that I'm not going to use? Entrance to the health club that I'm not going to use? Water that I can drink? Come on. We need to go into 2023 united in forcing a definition of terms and honesty and transparency. The fact that they can is not justification for doing it. Just like that 745,000 mile redemption level on Delta. It's just really not acceptable. And I hope you'll agree with me. All right, let's go down here. All right. Okay, now everybody remembers Martin Mull. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see who else is up here. Okay, right, Patty got Martin Mull, that's great. Now, the other thing is this. If you haven't seen our teaser before, our 1-hour global television special, Hidden Canary Islands, just premiered this week on public television. And if you haven't caught it, I'm gonna run the little trailer for it right now. Then you gotta watch it because I'm gonna do quizzes on that coming up. Not today, but next week. Anthony, please run the trailer.
They exist at the threshold of history, on the precipice of a dream. Rising out of the ocean, almost without warning. Endless golden beaches, leading to lush, vibrant rainforests, and then sliding into another world of almost barren terrain. This almost insane combination of topography melds a continent's worth of landscapes, temperatures, culture, and experiences, and it's all within 8 small islands. I came here in search of history, of culture and tradition, unchanged by travel or travelers. These are the islands in the stream, separated from the rest of the world and yet accessible to those who know. And a destination where you can explore, immerse, and literally breathe, if Mother Nature lets you. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is Hidden Canary Islands.
So I hope that you get a chance to catch it, and I'd love to hear what you think about it. How many Canary Islands are there? Anybody want to guess? Well, it's actually 8, and we went to all 8. Not easy to do, but if you go, then you know. By the way, speaking of the frequent flyer programs, I want to go back to that as well. Some airlines are changing the rules already as to how much you either have to fly or how much you have to spend on their airline to get those perks. It's getting crazy, and it may not be worth it. American Airlines reported the largest number of frequent flyer program award enrollments, people joining the program, in their history, right? Well, what does that mean? It means everybody's out there earning miles that they can't redeem. Anybody want to guess how many unredeemed frequent flyer miles there are out there right now? I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. See if anybody remembers. I'm going to tell you. If you think billions, you're not even close. It's 32 trillion. And the redemption rates are only 8%. Mafia loan sharks don't get that rate of return. So, and by the way, I can sit here all day long and boast to you how many millions of miles I have. By the way, I do have millions of miles. But what does that mean if I can't redeem them? What does it mean if they make it so difficult that you just give up trying? And by the way, putting them in your account, they're not accruing interest. Airlines aren't banks. And airlines retain the right to change the rules anytime they want, which, by the way, is anytime they want. And so Delta just changed the rules about minimum spend and minimum flight segments. Other airlines are probably going to follow suit. And we're right back to where we started again. So we've reached the sort of threshold point where you have to make a determination as to whether you want a credit card that's linked to a frequent flyer program or you want a cash back credit card, right? I mean, what's the point of earning miles if you can't redeem them? That's a rhetorical question. I'll let you sit with that for about 8 seconds and then start to think about what is your flying pattern? How often do you fly? How often do you want to fly? And how often have you been able to cash in the frequent flyer miles at a reasonable mileage level for the flights and dates that you wanted? Now, there's another approach to this. And the other approach is to take your bucket list and burn it, and then pick locations with strategic partner alliances on other airlines where they'll accept your miles to destinations you never wanted to go to and your friends never wanted to go, and just go. You don't have to take your friends. By the way, you'll have a great time. You'll come back with bragging rights, and at least you will have burned off the miles. Right now, if you're thinking of coming to France or Spain or Italy, the usual suspects, it's going to cost you a whole lot more in terms of mileage redemption, and that's assuming they'll give you the ticket. So we're at that threshold point now where you have to make a determination about what's best for you. A card that's linked on an affinity level to a mileage program or programs, or a cashback card, right? I can't give you an answer for that. You'll figure that one out for yourself based on your own travel patterns and your own travel behavior, and I hope you will. Okay, now let me just really quick down scroll again before we go to some of the other questions you sent in. Hold on. Okay, I think we're going to go, here we go. Oh, Patty's saying no more charge by Americans to redeposit miles. Well, of course, they need to charge you to redeposit the miles because you're not using them. Okay, here we go. Mambo. Okay, thank you, Adisa. Okay, here we go. Robert's saying hi from Chicago. Patty's reporting $100 tax per room in Eleuthera in the Bahamas. That should tell you something. Okay, now let's go to some of the questions you sent in. Nick says, I'm in Philly, headed to St. Petersburg. American Airlines had to deplane. Any suggestions? Can we get any compensation? Thanks. Well, Nick, you haven't told me a lot. Did you plane for 5 minutes or 5 days? Right? How long was that delay? How much were you inconvenienced? Did the airline get you to your destination in a reasonable amount of time? Let me know. Okay, here's one from Tusasibwe, who says, when do you hope to come to Uganda and physically do guerrilla tracking? I've been to Uganda many times, both Entebbe and Kampala. There's a reason why Winston Churchill described Uganda as the Pearl of Africa. It's an incredibly beautiful country, and I will get back there. We did trekking with the guerrillas in Rwanda. It was part of our Royal Tour special with President Paul Kagame, but I'm open to doing it in Uganda and even in the Congo, so I will get back soon. All right, here's one from Samson. What can you advise to tell people who've never been in Serengeti? Well, here's the thing. Serengeti where? Tanzania or Kenya? And how long do you want to spend there? And what do you want to do there? You want to see the Big Five? Well, in my experience, I've seen the Big Five many times in record amounts of time, meaning short periods of time, in Tanzania, not necessarily in Kenya. But my suggestion is find out, and by the way, this is on a sliding calendar scale, when the Great Migration is going to be this year, meaning coming up next year. It's either July, August, or September. Sometimes it'll slide into October, but it's within that 4-month window. That's when you want to go to Tanzania, and that's when you want to get into the Serengeti and watch that amazing migration. It's I can't even describe it. It's so amazing. Okay, but you'll know you'll know when you know. Okay, for a first timer to the Canary Islands, which island should I visit first? Looking for beautiful beaches and some relaxation. Well, as I said before, 8 islands, right? Every island is different. Gomera, Lanzarote, Gran Canaria. Of course, there's Tenerife or Tenerife. La Graciosa, which is the one that nobody ever goes to, which if you're looking to get away from it all, that's where you want to go. If you'll go to the beach there, you'll be by yourself. If that's what you're looking for, right? You're not going there for the club scene, right? You also want to go there a little bit out of season to avoid the hordes of British holidaymakers fighting over beach chairs at the hotel pool. You may have seen that video we showed you a couple of weeks ago. But in any case, you would not be. I would say Tenerife, Lanzarote, or Gran Canaria for starters. Okay. Okay. Here's one from Nora. Mr. Last broadcast. Don't know if you answered my question about Frontier Airlines Islip MacArthur to Fort Myers. I did, but I'll answer it again. Frontier Airlines out of Islip does a north-south operation seasonally, right? They go for the winter months when everybody's heading south for the sun, right? They're not there during the summer months. So my understanding is that schedule will kick in again in about 2 weeks and will stay till around April, right? And they fly from Islip to Tampa. They fly from Islip, I believe, to Fort Lauderdale, and they fly to Fort Myers. Southwest also flies from Islip as well. Islip, to me, is a great secret airport in New York. It's underutilized. It's great. They haven't figured out east to west flights a lot. I believe that if an airline put in a nonstop flight from Islip to LA, they'd own it because you have such a large population based in Long Island that doesn't want to go to Kennedy and doesn't want to go to LaGuardia. So check that out, okay? Okay, Madison says, I'm confused about the visa requirement to Japan. Do all Americans need one regardless of how long we stay there? It's a tricky answer. You always used to need a visa to go to Japan, but when Japan recently reopened after being shut down for over 2 years during the pandemic, they got rid of the original visa requirements if you were going to stay a reasonable amount of time, like less than 90 days. So my understanding is you do not need one if you're staying less than 90 days or you're not working, right? If you're going to work, that's different. If you're staying more than 90 days, that's different. Okay, from Ann. Hi, Peter. What day did you say was the best day of the week to get the cheapest airfare? Well, it used to be, I'm going to give you some history here. It used to be Tuesday night at 1 minute after midnight. So essentially 12:01 a.m. Wednesday morning. And the reason why it used to be that, remember the days when the airlines required a Saturday night stay, you had to book 2 weeks in advance and stay at least a Saturday night. Remember that? Well, in those days, whatever you booked, you had 24 hours from the time you booked it to buy it. And all the airfare cutting and slashing and competitive pricing happened over the weekend and was done by Monday morning. So everybody would book on Monday, but then remember the 24-hour rule, they didn't have to pay for it until the end of the day, Tuesday. So Tuesday at midnight, when all those discount fares that have been booked, some of them didn't get paid, those fares came racing back into the airline system at 1 minute after midnight on Tuesday night, 12:01 a.m. Wednesday morning. And that's when you wouldn't go online, you'd pick up the phone and call the airline because they could see that on their screen. You wouldn't see it on your screen and you'd get a pretty good deal. Well, those days are gone for 2 reasons. One, our travel patterns have changed. The restrictions on the airline tickets have changed. Oh, and one more thing, the airlines changed the rules on when you had to buy it. You have to buy it now when you book it. So the only 24-hour rule you have now is you have 24 hours in which to cancel it and get a direct refund. After that, it goes into a credit, but you don't get the money back. You get to use that credit for a future ticket, right? So now the answer to your question, what's the best day to buy a ticket? Well, when it changed from Tuesday at 1 minute after midnight, it then moved to Friday. Why? Because in those days, meaning a year and a half to 2 years ago, business travelers would do all their bookings and get them done by Friday for the following week. And then the airline realized what they had or what they didn't have in terms of availability, and some prices would come down late Friday night. Well, that's changed now. The best day of the week to book is now Sunday, because business travelers are now booking a lot of their flights on the weekend. So the same principle that applied on a Friday now applies on a Sunday. Call about 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday night. You stand your best chance of getting between a 5 and 15% discount on the same fare that might have been quoted on the Friday before. Okay? So there you go. Now, from Barbara, when looking for a good travel agent, what questions should I ask of them? Well, by the way, there are good travel agents, and they're the ones who specialize. In the old days of the mom and pop travel agent, the travel agent that would book your vacation or send your kid to college or dad on a business trip, those days are gone. The travel agents are specializing either in destinations or experiences. I personally use about 5 or 6 different travel agents based on where I'm going and what I'm expecting to do when I get there, right? Today, the smart travel agents or travel advisors are quasi-tour operators as well, because they're not just doing the ticket transaction. They're giving you very good and informed advice on specific hotels, resorts, experiences, logistics in that region. So the question you really want to ask your travel agent is, what do you specialize in? Do you specialize only in cruises or barge travel or bicycle travel or travel in Burgundy or travel in Brazil? And that's where you can find a small arsenal at your disposal of smart travel advisors who can speak to the areas they know best, right? The generalists are over. We're now living in a world of specialization, right? You don't go see a podiatrist if your arm hurts you. Same thing applies to travel agents. Do it that way. And you've got great travel agent networks like Virtuoso or Signature, where they have a network within the network of specialists in either experiences or regions that really know their stuff. And the best part about that is they have preferred supplier relationships. So if you go online and the hotel says sold out, maybe not. The hotel may be holding back 5 rooms for that particular travel advisor who they have a great relationship with. Guess what? You just got the room. So be a good comparison shopper. Shop travel agents based on what they know of a particular region, state, country, experience, or logistics. And that's how you get a good travel agent. All right, now it's time for the photo of the week. Let's put it up. I love this photo. How beautiful is that? Anybody want to guess where that is? You won't get it. It was taken on a cruise by Kathy Bowman, and she writes, "My husband and I just sailed on celebrity cruises beyond to the Mediterranean. One of our incredible ports was Palma de Mallorca in Spain. Many people miss seeing this hidden gem, the gardens of Alfabia. Absolutely gorgeous gardens, manor homes, stables, and of course, olive oil pressing rooms." Kathy, great photo. Remember, when it comes to photos, it's all about the light. And you did a great job there with the light. If you think you've got a great photo of the week, you know what to do. Peter@petergreenberg.com, send it to us. And if we agree, it goes right up there with Patty's photo, with Kathy's photo, and we'll post it right here every week. All right, let me scroll down for some last minute comments and questions. Okay, Liz is saying hi from Atlanta. My mom and I just returned from a week-long cruise to the Greek islands. Okay, on a Ponant ship. A great trip despite not being able to stop in Mykonos due to wind. By the way, I sailed into Mykonos this summer, and it was really windy. I know what you're talking about. And due to Delta changing planes and delaying our Atlanta to Athens flight by 4 hours, we were 6 of us lost the ship. But at least we made it. Okay, well you made most of it. We opted for an extra Sunday night in Athens because it made our airfare half the price. No kidding. Heading home to Wyoming in a few hours. Nice to hear from you, Liz. How to sound. Okay. Patty says, great memories of Palma de Mallorca, brought back, I'm sure, by Kathy's picture. And you know it. All right, let's go to last couple of questions here. Okay, Susan says, greetings from Ohio. My husband and I are in our 70s and would love to visit Egypt. Any hints? Yes, get on plane, fly to Cairo. And I'm kidding, but I'm not. This is the best time of year to visit Egypt, between now and February. It's not hot, it's cool. And guess what's happening next month? They're finally opening the Grand Egyptian Museum in Cairo. Well worth the visit alone. Any tour operator, whether it's Abercrombie and Kent or many others, can put together a great package for you that includes not just the visit to the pyramids in Cairo and the Sphinx and out to Saqqara, the really cool place, and of course the Grand Egyptian Museum, but getting down to Luxor and getting out on the Nile. Now's the time to do it. Okay. Okay, Don says, any idea how long Canadians or Americans can stay in Peru with a visa on arrival? The consulate shows 183 days within a year. However, they're also saying 90 days within a year. Well, what kind of visa do you have? Do you have a tourism visa or a work visa? That's the key before I can answer that question. Okay. Okay, I keep going here. I'm looking here. Okay. Tenerife South. I just heard that. Good. Jude, you're going to the right place. By the way, check out the night sky tourism. The Canary Islands, not the one with the volcano now, but in Tenerife or Tenerife, some unbelievable night sky tourism. When we were there, we just looked up. Not only did we see the constellations galore, we actually saw the International Space Station zipping by. That's how clear it was to the naked eye. How often can you say that? Okay. Lois says, is 1 hour, 30 minutes enough time to make my connection in Charles de Gaulle to Rabat in Morocco? And the answer is, don't even think about it. No. If you don't give yourself at least 3 hours, because you're changing terminals, most likely at Charles de Gaulle, and that involves, in many cases, taking a bus, please don't do that. Remember, your bags have to connect as well. Give yourself at least 3 hours. And do what I always do. When you get to your connecting gate, take your bag tags, which should be barcoded, and ask the gate agent to confirm that your bags have been transferred and loaded onto your connecting flight. Many of them will say, oh, we don't do that. Yeah, they do. It's called call downstairs and ask. Okay, call the bag room. They'll do it. All right, they don't want to do it, but they'll do it. Now, some airlines like Delta, they have an app now that actually tells you your bags are on the plane. How cool is that? Nobody wants to get somewhere and wait 40 minutes for bags to find out they never arrived in the first place. But nothing beats a conversation. Remember that. Okay. Joseph's saying, hello from Garden City, New York. Okay. Very good. Okay. Robert wants to know Cairo in July from Atlanta. Why? Worst time of year to go. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Joseph's saying, always dreaming about a return to Kenya. I love going to Kenya. I've been going to Kenya for almost 40 years. I remember the very first time I went there, taking the old Uganda Railway from where? Nairobi to Mombasa. It goes about 8 miles an hour, but it's definitely Agatha Christie time, if you get my drift, and it's wonderful. All right. If you've got questions that you haven't sent in today, go ahead and do it again. Peter@petergreenberg.com. Happy to answer them online or next week. Remember our Halloween special show. It's this Saturday, and of course from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and Hidden Canary Islands on the air now. Also available, by the way, on Amazon Prime and Apple TV+. We will see you next week, somewhere in the United States for a change, at our regular time, Thursday at noon Eastern. So we'll see you next week, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Travel safely and travel smartly. See you next week.